So just it was a great job. And, Coach, a lot of people, including myself, wasn't real sure what to expect coming into this year. Obviously, losing a lot of kids and your team is really off to a good start again. I mean, you're 4-1. You're going into league play. What do you think has been the most surprising about your start and what your kids have done so far?
Well, I think defensively we've played pretty well all year, and the offense has kind of grown into their role that they need to, and now we're much more balanced as a team offensively and defensively. And some of our young guys that got thrown in there had to grow up quick, and they're doing okay. They're not like they're superstars or all league type players, but they're effective on the varsity level, which you worry about that when you're having to play sophomores and even a lot of juniors who never played varsity football before. And so I think that's a big key that they're really starting to believe in themselves now.
And we'll talk a little bit about we're getting ready to start our league play starting this week. And you've had a pretty tough non-conference schedule. I've never understood how that all is. It a 2-year contract with a lot of these schools, or how does all that non-league stuff start?
Most of the time the non-league stuff we go a 2-year contract home and home. Now Glenville was just a 1-year deal, so we're open week 4 next year, along with some other teams that we'd like to play. But Glenville, like I said, we won't make that trip to Cleveland. The Showdown is a 1-year deal each year, and we will be in the Showdown again next year with an opponent to be determined yet. And we have second year of Woodward, so we're done with them. We're going to play Withrow instead, and week 3 instead of Boone County, we're going to play Lakota West.
Wow,
which is going to be a big test for us. So and then the league gives you a crossover game week 5, and then like you said, you get into the league. So sometimes you do a 4-year contract on those kind of things, but generally it's a 2-year deal.
Is it a difficult thing to do?
It can
to figure it out?
When we have to get 4 games, it is. Week 4 is always difficult to fill because Dayton teams all start their crossovers like in week 3. The GMC starts, I think, week 3. So a lot of those teams are gone, and there's nobody left maybe but the GCL or somebody that's much farther from Columbus. You got to travel, and anytime you put travel involved, it just costs you more money and for transportation costs, and then when you have them there for your home game, you don't get the crowd because they have to travel so far.
Right.
So that's always a tough thing to do.
And as we said, you're starting league play, and the league is pretty balanced this year. You got from top to bottom. You got Woods has I think 1 loss. You have 1 loss. You got Harrison with 1 loss, and Milford I believe has 2
losses.
But they're playing very well. Played Turpin to the end. I mean, are there any other surprises that you think from this league? Did you think it was going to be this balanced?
It's always kind of balanced like that. I think the schools are very similar. Winton Woods lost that tough game to Elders, the first game of the year, and then they've been just playing very, very well since. I think they're, playing as good as anybody in our league right now. And Harrison has just quietly gone along at 4-1, and they're leading the Region 8 in the Harbins right now in Division 2. So, they're in a good position as well. Oakland Nest had a big win last week over, or they got beat by Kings, but they had the game. They were winning. It was a tough loss for them. And they've had a couple games like that they haven't won. And Loveland's kind of been a hard luck team also. They're only 1-4, but they've played Oak Hills to overtime and got beat. So, our league is always going to be balanced and competitive.
So you win this game, you end up the non-league portion of your schedule at 4-1, and let's talk about the players of the game for this game.
Well, on offense, Nick Mason, he had 205 yards. I think it was like 10 for 18. Did a nice job throwing the ball. Defensively, Michael Heldon. I think Michael had like 7 tackles. And he's in a tough spot, too. He's playing some corner, then he has to play safety. So he's back and forth in a lot of things. He's kind of our swing guy in the secondary, but he's a good tackler and he's a physical kid. And in special teams, Tommy, because of executing his onside kicks and making a field goal.
Those onside kicks, I mean, there are many guys in college that can't execute it the way he's got that down.
He's worked at it. And
it's got the soccer thing, too, that it kind of helps out a little bit, I would imagine.
Sure, it does.
What did the JV and freshman teams do this week?
JV won 30-6. The freshmen got beat by Northwest. It was 48-21. Northwest has a good freshman group. They're playing Loveland today, so I haven't heard anything about that game yet.
So the JV, I mean, after the way they were at Nagel, they seem like they're progressing pretty much.
Well, they're 3-0 for a group that didn't win in 8th grade or 9th grade. I mean, now there's some juniors thrown in with that.
Right.
But they're playing better. They're getting better. I think the thing that group still has to understand is how much you need to concentrate, and you need to be mature and go about your business, and how to play hard every play. And they're learning that. They really are. But there's some kids in there that are going to be, I think, kind of late bloomers for us. When they're seniors, are going to be pretty good players.
Good. Let's talk about the injuries. I know you got Tanner Braunhaver back this past week.
Yeah, he's back now.
Anybody else get injured in this game? Or
not really. Brian Vale's back. He's back today, and like I said, Tanner's back. Chris Singleton ribs were bothering him. That's why we pulled him early. But he'll be full go for Friday. So we shouldn't be in too bad shape.
Cody Schmidt.
Cody Schmidt's back and practicing. So not too bad.
All right. Let's talk about this week's game. It's a homecoming game, which is always an exciting event for Anderson, and it's your game against Loveland, and it's a big game. So, what can we look forward to?
Well, Loveland's going to come out and try to run the ball, and they've been effective. They were effective against us last year at the beginning of the game. If you remember, they ran the football on us, and they do that, try to keep our offense off the field. They're playing a lot of young guys that lost their whole offensive line, but he's got a lot of juniors that are playing. He's got decent size. They got beat. They're kind of on a tailspin right now, but after the Oak Hills, then they got beat by Kings, and they lost to Mount Healthy. But definitely a dangerous team that we have to be ready to play. Defensively, they're pretty good up front. It's going to take us a while to probe and figure out where we want to run the football exactly, I think. It's going to be a good game.
Talk a little bit about their offense. I was reading the paper. They had an article that I guess they switched quarterbacks. They've got a sophomore now, I believe. That's a quarterback.
Right.
His name's Terry. Seems like he throws the ball a little bit more than the other guy that was in there. So, will you think that they'll maybe throw the ball a little bit more in this game? Or do you think they're still going to try to stick to the run?
It's hard to tell. I think they'll run the ball. I mean, they're going to mix in the pass with it. Sometimes, their statistics are misleading because if you're losing, you end up throwing more. It seems like to try to get back into the game. But the sophomore he's the better thrower. Some of the other kids they bring in, they played a couple other guys at quarterback as well, are better runners. They've used a couple tailbacks now, and so he's kind of changed his personnel on the offense quite a bit from the Oak Hills game to where he's at now. A couple different offensive linemen. Maybe that's due to injury. I don't know, I think they're trying to find a groove for what kind of offense they really want to be.
I know on defense they got a couple guys that are pretty decent. I know one is a defensive back. I think it's Elias. He's got 3 interceptions in 5 games, so he will be a test for Jordan Shelton and your receivers.
Right. Yeah, he's a good player. And then they got Moran up front. That's a Division I prospect. He's like 6'5", 240. He's got good size. And they just got a lot of kids with good size. They're just solid football players. So, they play well as a team, and Andrew does a nice job coaching them up. So, we're expecting a tough battle.
What's your game plan and your keys to the game for this week?
Well, we need to get out in front of them, I think. We don't want the game to, go in at halftime with tied or us behind or something like that. I think we need to get in front of them and hopefully force them to throw the ball. I think our secondary is our strength of our defense, and maybe we can get some more interceptions. Offensively, I think like we've been doing, we have to be balanced between the run and the pass. And last week we had over 400 yards, and I think we had 221 on the ground and 205 in the air. So if we can do that and be balanced, we feel like we can be effective and score some points.
We're going to talk quickly about the Alumni Association, and we just did an email blast this week, and we ended up having a really good response. We're trying to sell the footballs that have the players that played in the year that they played in. And we had, I think, maybe 5 or 6 this week, or 4 or 5 this week. And so we're really trying to get this Alumni Association up and running, and we really need a lot of help. Between Jeff, myself, and John, and Mike Ramirez are pretty much running it, but it's just pretty hard to run it between all of us. So if you're out there listening, anybody, former alumnus that would like to help out in any way, we can use anything they can do to help us out.
Sure.
You can go to you can contact Jeff at the school. Right. You can contact myself, or we also have it on our website during the game. So anything that anybody can do would obviously help. We got to get this thing really rolling.
Yeah, we've got, I think, 8 or 9 footballs on the wall now, right on the side of where we come out, on the side of the weight room where we come out for the tunnel and stuff. And our hope is that we can just plaster that wall with names of former Redskins and the years they played, and it'll stay up there, to honor their time that they were playing. And like you said, we got a few more now, and we'll get another order in. And I think as guys come to games, hopefully at homecoming, guys will see it this weekend and be interested, and it'll take off.
Yeah, there's a lot of things going on too. If you get your Anderson alumni pass, go down on the field. There's just a lot of activities that we want to get rolling and we got to get doing. But again, you can find that information about the football on the website, and anything anybody can do would be greatly appreciative.
Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Let's thank the folks who make this broadcast possible, the folks here at Anderson Community Television for the use of their studio and their air times for not only this show but also the games, obviously. Thanks to John Raymond, our producer, in the control booth there. We appreciate his help. Denise White for everything she does for us, including the highlights every week. It's a neat feature to have. And, of course, thank the football moms for all their support. And as far as the air times for the games, the only thing I know for sure is they're on Friday nights, 11:30.
Yeah, I know that for sure. And what I'm going to try to do is, because we keep forgetting to write them down,
I know.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it on the website so everybody sees it. So we'll have it on there, and it's kind of at different times and stuff, but we'll definitely get it on so everybody can see it.
And don't forget, if you can't make a game, especially the road games, every game we do it live on USBNsports.com. And we had quite a few people listen to us this past week. And
a lot of emailers.
A lot of emailers. In fact, the fourth quarter got a little long, so we started, I don't know if you heard it, but we started playing a little game we call Name the Restaurant on Beachmont Avenue.
That's been closed.
It's been closed.
So we had a ton we had Bob Mullenek's daughter, Emily, emails from Bowling Green. She threw out a couple. It just got to a point where the game was so long, we were getting, kind of bored.
Right. That's good.
It happens. But anyway, if you can't make a game, listen to us live and let us know you're listening to us. So, Coach, good luck this week, homecoming. Start your league schedule. It's an exciting time.
Yeah, it is.
For Dan Albers, Coach Jeff Geesey, I'm Greg Ellis. Thanks for joining us on Redskin Review.